Can't find the stream. Hopefully it won't be too far away. YouTube has been cooperating with me quite well in the recent past, and it continues to cooperate. The audio is working as it should. The stream's up, the chat's up. We're all good to go. Fantastic. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 9 of the PlayStation America series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and this time we are racing at Circuit of the Americas for the United States Grand Prix. Constructed in 2012 and designed by track-making Supremo Herman Tilke, the 3.43 mile 20-turn racetrack was created to try and rekindle the relationship between USA and Formula One after the events of the 2005 US Grand Prix at Indianapolis. With the Miami Grand Prix being introduced for the 2022 season, I'd say it's done its job. The circuit can produce good racing, as it demonstrated last night in Pacific Tier 1. It has two DRS zones that lead into the unique uphill Turn 1 and Turn 12. The two corners provide the best overtaking opportunities on the racetrack, but we may also see some action into Turn 15 in the third sector. The big concern for the drivers tonight will be track limit warnings. The S section in the opening sector and Turn 19 in the final sector tend to be hotspots for gathering warnings. They will be key areas for us to look out for during the race and, of course, during qualifying. Now, before we focus on qualifying, there is a bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Singapore. There were several incident reports involving Rafixa, who claimed a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point for violating Rule 3.4.1 of the Race Spec Racing rules. And due to a failure to use the proper reply format, Rafixa got an additional penalty point. Shizen got a 5-second time penalty for an incident with Flavius. And there was one additional incident that resulted in no further action. So 2 drivers got time penalties, but it doesn't actually change the final results. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, KD is leading the way on 169 points, followed by Renner Jr. on 126, 43 points separating the top 2. KD steadily pulling away, but we've still got a lot of races to go from here to the end of the championship. Mighty Wombat is third on 121, followed by Rafa on 114. Then JBH in P5 on 98. Completing the rest of the table, Darluto, as I realise that's how you actually pronounce that, Noah in P7, Lakeshow P8, Black Baller in 9th, and Oscar Toll rounds out the top 10. In the Constructors, Mercedes are leading healthily. They're on 252 points, followed by Alfa Romeo on 169. It's a very big gap between the top 2. Aston Martin are third on 148. They're only 1 point in front of Williams in P4. Red Bull are 5th on 123. Ferrari are P6, followed by Alpine, AlphaTauri, McLaren, and Haas at the bottom of the table. Well, that's pretty much all the news out of the way. We can now fully focus on qualifying, which hopefully should be fairly entertaining. Certainly proved to be in the past couple of races I've commentated here. We'll see if that trend follows in the America Series. You can see here Captain Schmeg is making his way through the middle sector now, heading towards turn 11. Quite the critical corner. You need to get the exit pretty spot on here to maximise the straight line speed down this back straightaway. He'll open DRS, shift the car into top gear, and he'll head down towards the big braking zone of turn 12, heading in at 314 kilometers an hour. Brings it down to first gear briefly, but then short shifts back up to third gear to try and find traction. Around the hairpin of turn 13 and 14, then into the tight left-hander of turn 15. You can see there with Captain Schmeck, he took a very wide approach into turn 15. That invites drivers going down the inside, doing a big dive bomb, Kvyat style, to try and make moves. Tends to be a fairly interesting corner to look at during the race. Around the final corner of turn 20, he'll open DRS, cross the line to set the benchmark time, a 1 minute 32.119. That's a pretty competitive lap right out of the blocks. We'll see how the other drivers respond JBH has invalidated his lap, so has KD, as Renner Jr. jumps up to P2 with a 32.6. Black Baller in the Ferrari this time around, making his way around the penultimate corner, heading towards the final turn of turn 20. So down to third gear, short shifts to fourth on the exit. He's on the medium tyre as well. Crosses the line to set a 34.0. It's pretty competitive time on the medium tyre, in all honesty. If I remember correctly, the delta between the medium and the soft tyre is upwards of 1.5 seconds. So that's a pretty competitive lap. Ice Dev goes P6 with a 42.9. Snake and Beans goes fifth fastest with a 35.9. A few other drivers on flying laps. See if we can't find them. A lot. Oh, hello, McLaren. Who's that? That must be Lob then. It is. At the triple right hand of 16, 17 and 18, he's made a mistake and he makes another one. Oh dear. And he gets the car going again as Darluto jumps up to fourth place with a 33.2. Lane show's invalidated as well. It's quite a common sight, in all honesty, to see drivers invalidate over the course of this lap. Plenty of places to do it. You got this opening S section, which is very reminiscent to the Maggots and Beckett's S section over in Silverstone. Basically every corner through there, you sort of have to cut all of them to be competitive. If you cut that a little bit too much, you'll cop an invalidation. Around the insignificant kink of turn 10, down towards turn 11, you have to get this corner pretty spot on. So down to second gear, clips the apex quite nicely, gets on the power on the exit. We'll open DRS. Going up through the gearbox into top gear. Now heading down towards turn 12. Easily the best overtaking spot on the racetrack. Hard on the brakes, brings it down to second gear. Keeps it in second on the exit. Small short shift just after the apex. Around turn 14 into turn 15. Not a bad overtaking spot here, that's for sure. That's it. It'll be quite tricky to try and pass because the driver on the outside tends to get better traction, plus they get the inside line for this triple right-hander. So if we see drivers send it, they have to well and truly send it into the hairpin. Around the final corner of turn 20 with the sun right in the driver's eyes. Opens DRS, crosses the line, goes fourth fastest with a 33.1. So Captain Schmeck still on pole. Looking pretty good out there. Only just, though, by 0.03 of a second between himself and Mighty Wombat. I think he's on an in-lap just by judging the battery life he currently has. Flavius getting ready, same with KD. He's on the medium tyre as well, so he's looking to try and get himself inside the top 10 on the mediums and try the alternate strategy, as JST has retired in the pit lane, I believe. Not sure why he's done that. Maybe he has a qualifying ban that I'm not aware of, or something else of the like. Not sure. KD sets off on a flying lap. We're right on board with the championship leader. Give you a proper tour of this racetrack. Heading up the hill towards turn 1, hard on the brakes. Brings it down to third gear. Keeps it in third around the opening hairpin. Down the hill, around the flat-out right-hander of turn 2. Now into the S section. Turn 3, 4, into 5. Now this double right of sorts of turn 6. This completes the first sector. Around turn 7. Into turn 8, up the hill towards turn 9. Turn 9 is quite tricky. You have to be careful on the power. KD keeps it nice and stable around that left-hander. Into the hairpin of turn 11. Mentioned it earlier, it's a critical corner to get right. See KD just using third gear, not bothering to use second or even first. Just gets enough rotation in third gear, then puts the power down at corner exit. Up towards turn 12. Entering at 313 kilometers an hour. Again, keeping it in third, using plenty of the inside curb. This completes the middle sector. Now into the final one, around turn 13 and 14. Now around turn 15, there's a McLaren just in front. Not sure who that is. It's Lob in P9. Around the triple right-hander of 16, 17 and 18. Keeping the foot well and truly on the floor. Around turn 19, quite a tricky corner to get right as it's blind. The apex is blind. At that left-hander, around the final corner, opens DRS, crosses the line, goes P4 with a 32.9, and that was on the medium tyre. Very competitive there from KD. JBH has backed out of this flying lap, it seems. Looks like he might be on an in-lap. Renner Jr. getting ready. Mighty Wombat getting ready as well to set some flying laps. At the halfway mark now at qualifying. Still got heaps of time for drivers to improve. We've got a lot of drivers here. Got a Ferrari off there, Black Baller. Had a Haas stopped on the inside. There's KD just in front as well, trying to make his way through turn 1. Just a fairly big group of cars just sitting there. Renner is up by 0.3 of a second in the opening sector. There's a stopped Williams on the racetrack. I don't think it would be Mighty Wombat. He's making his way around turn 12, so that would have to be Snake and Beans. There's JBH getting out of the way around turn 11. Heading on to the back straightaway, quote unquote. Got DRS wide open. Shifted up into top gear. Hitting 314, 315. Doesn't quite hit 316. So the average speeds heading into that braking zone at turn 12 seem to be about 314 kilometers an hour. Around turn 15, brings it down to second gear, gets on the power nicely. Around the triple right-hander now. There's KD just in front. He'll be going back in. Oh, sorry, no, that would be Lake Show in front as KD's already back in the pits. Towards the final corner, turn 20. Down to third gear. Opens DRS, crosses the line, jumps up to P3, improving by just over a tenth. I think there's more time in that. Renner was up by 0.3 in the first sector, so progressively losing time over the course of the lap. So there's more time that this Alfa Romeo driver can find. Lake Show as well, he's jumped up to P7, so inside the top 10. He's done that on the soft tyre as well. Mighty Wombat is up by 0.2 of a second in the opening sector, heading towards turn 12. Again, hitting that magical 314 kilometers an hour. Into turn 12, short shifting on the exit to find traction as Noah jumps up to pole position with a 31.5. Can anyone challenge that? Seems Mighty Wombat's on a pretty good lap. See what the clock says at the end of it. At the exit of 15, around turn 16, 17 and 18. Keeping it pinned to the floor in 7th gear. Into the penultimate turn of 19, down to 5th gear, gently on the throttle, using just enough curb. Now around the final corner in 3rd gear. He'll open DRS, cross the line, and take pole position away from Noah with a 1 minute 31.432. As Darluto has retired from qualifying. Has he done that in the pit lane? I'm guessing so. There's no yellow flags out on track. So, must have done that in the pit lane. Interesting. Snake and Beans currently P14 with a 35.9. Coming his way out to turn 15 around 16, 17 and 18. He would need to improve by a whole second to overtake Flavius, take P13 who was still in the pit lane. Around the penultimate turn, and he has a final corner to negotiate, turn 20. Using 3rd gear, gently on the power, opens DRS, crosses the line, improves by a second and a half to go to P13. Black Baller getting ready. Rafa coming to the end of a flying lap. He's currently even and he goes back into the pit lane. Oh, he almost goes into the wall as well at pit entry. Quite easy to do. I've seen it a few times. Captain Schmeg, he might be getting ready to try and set a flying lap. Or will he duck back into pit lane? No, he's going back into the pit lane. Fair enough. JBH getting ready, KD getting ready as well, and he's on the soft tyre. Currently P6 with a 32.9. He is set to improve by quite a bit on the soft tyre. See how much he can improve by. Up the hill towards turn 1. Hard on the brakes, brings it down to 3rd gear. Apexing at about 90 kilometers an hour. Down the hill and around turn 2. Keeping it pinned to the floor. Into the S section. 3, 4, 5. Now into turn 6. Brings it down to 6th gear. Crossing the first sector split, he's up by 0.3 of a second. Around turn 8, up the hill towards turn 9. Nice and easy in 4th gear, brings it up through the gearbox now into 7th. Towards turn 11. Gets on the anchors and brings it down to 3rd gear. Clips the apex at the hairpin. Gets on the power as early as he dares. He'll open DRS down the back straight away. And up into top gear. Climbs over 300 kilometers an hour. Hitting a peak speed of about 313, 314 or so. Around turn 12. The clock said KD is up by almost 0.9 of a second. So he's looking to set a 32 flat at this point. Can he find any more time in this final sector? I think he will. And the triple right-hander, Snake and Beans, has retired in the pit lane as well. Around the penultimate corner. Now towards the final corner of turn 20. 3rd gear on the power. Opens DRS, crosses the line, and jumps up to pole position with a 1 minute 31.345. So currently, the top 3 separated by 0.2 of a second. Pretty close at the moment, which is good to see. JBH, looks like he's on another outlap, letting the clock run down a bit more. Black Baller, I think he's just improved then. So the 32.5, I think his qualifying is pretty much over. Renner Jr. getting ready, Captain Schmeg getting ready. Noah and Mighty Wombat getting ready. I think the first of these drivers will be Noah. We've also got Rafa and Lake Show, who has just started a flying lap. Heading up the hill towards turn 1. Big braking zone here. You have to brake nice and late due to its uphill nature. Around turn 2, absolutely flat out now into the S section. You have to be very committed through here. You can't make a mistake. What does the clock say in the opening sector? He's up by 1/10.5. Rafa, oh, he's invalidated this lap as well, so Rafa's qualifying is done. So the best he can hope for is P8. JBH making his way around turn 1, down the hill towards turn 2. I think he's got Renner Jr. just behind on a flying lap. Just in front of JBH is Noah, currently P3. Clock says he's down by 2.5 That's a lot of time to try and find again in the final 2 sectors. See whether or not he can challenge for pole position as Captain Schmeg begins his final flying lap, exiting turn 1 down towards turn 2. Now heading into the S section. Turns 3, 4, into 5, bringing it down to 6th gear for turn 6. Actually down to 5th gear, in fact. And the clock says he's down by 1/10.5 in the first sector. Lakeshire, his lap is over. He's invalidated at some point, so he will not improve. JBH is apparently purple to the middle sector on the mini-map. He's making his way around turn 15. A bit wiggly on the exit. Around the triple right-hander, keeping it pinned to the floor. What about Noah? He's down by 0.5 second to the middle sector, so he's not set to improve, I think. He'll cross the line to set a 31.6. It's not enough. JBH goes 5th fastest, improving to a 32.4. Captain Schmeg, he's still down on his personal best, but he's still pushing. He's pushed too hard, and he's put it into the wall at the exit of turn 15. Mighty Wombat, he's down by just over 1/10. He needs to find effectively 2/10 on his current lap to try and beat KD. Around turn 15, towards 16, 17 and 18 for the final time in qualifying. He needs to push as hard as he dares around these final 2 corners. Around turn 19, using just enough curb into the final corner of 20. Is it enough for pole position for Mighty Wombat? The answer is no. He stays 2nd fastest. Does not improve. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is qualifying over. We'll just be waiting on Icedev here to complete his flying lap. Currently 13th. The AlphaTauri driver does improve by 1/10.5. to go to P12. And that's it, qualifying over. And it's KD on pole position by less than a tenth of a second to Mighty Wombat in P2. Noah will start P3, and I believe it's Captain Schmeg starting P4. And yes, it is Captain Schmeg. So the top three separated by 0.2 of a second. Fairly close at the end of qualifying there between those three. Captain Schmeg is a further half second behind Noah, but he will start P4. JBH in 5th, followed by Renner Jr., Black Baller. Rafa in P8, Lake Show and Daluto starts in P10 on the medium compound tyre. Shiz in P11, followed by Ice Dev, Flavius, Snake and Beans, Lob, Rafixer and JST not setting lap times through this qualifying session. They'll start P16 and 17 for this US Grand Prix. Also, a weather report from Flavius says that there's a very, very small chance of rain, only 7%, so it should be a dry race here in Austin, which is great to hear. Dry races tend to be a fair bit more entertaining compared to wet weather ones. Alrighty. Still waiting. Why is it taking forever? Why are we still... Come on. Oh, why? Oh, for goodness. Why did that take forever? Honestly, this game is just brilliant. Now, the strategy here, it's a fairly simple one. It's either soft medium or medium soft. If you get into trouble early on, there is a hard tyre. It's not a great tyre, but it isn't terrible. It's just sort of a tyre that exists. Best way to put the hard tyre. So, I imagine the drivers outside the top 10, they'll be likely starting on the medium tyre. It gives you a fair bit of flexibility for the start of the race. We'll see who's starting on what, though. And, okay, it's a bit more of a mix outside the top 10 than what I initially anticipated. So everyone inside the top 10, except for Daluto, will be starting on the soft tyre. Daluto is starting on the medium compound tyre. Shizant, the first driver outside the top 10, is starting on the soft tyre, followed by Ice Dev on the mediums. Flavius is on the mediums as well in P13. Snake and Beans, P14, starting on the soft tyre. Lob is the only driver in the field starting on the hard compound tyre. It's not a tyre that I would start on, in all honesty. It's just not a very good tyre compared to the raw pace of the soft and the medium compounds. Rafixer starting P16 on the soft tyre, and JST starting from the back. He's on the medium compound tyre. So we've got one driver on the hards, we've got 4 drivers on the mediums. That means 12 drivers are on the soft compound tyre, 9 of which are on worn soft compound tyres from qualifying. We can get rid of this tyre graphic now and bring up the interval, ready for the race start. Hopefully this will be an entertaining race. I commentated Pacific Tier 1 and that was an unbelievable race. Well, an unbelievable finish, at the very least. Had an 11-car train fighting for the lead. It was quite entertaining. Or, well, we had an 11-car train at the front. We had about 2 or 3, at times 4 cars fighting for the lead. But it was very, very close, very entertaining. Just cleaning stuff up. Just cleaning some things up while the leaders are making their way onto the grid. There we go. Got 17 cars for tonight. Fairly healthy field. Really good to see. Everyone's ready to race. Got 28 laps in front of us and 10 red lights. Oh, and a jump start for a fair few drivers, it seems. Quite a few drivers have got jump starts. 6 of them in total. What has happened? Was it a lights out glitch, or was that a genuine mistake from those drivers? My goodness. They're going through the opening sector now. We've got some shenanigans going on in the midfield as JBH has spun off the racetrack and tumbles down to last place. Drivers making their way through this opening sector. I'm still confused about what's happened here at the start. So many drivers. So many of them have jumped the start. Ooh, someone going down the inside. Lake Show. Luto has made a few positions as well off the start as Lob loses control of his McLaren and almost puts it into the wall. I think Rafixer and Jay Steve were having a moment as well at turn 9, just by judging what's happened off the minimap. It's KD leading the way, but he has a drive-through. So does Noah, so does Captain Schmeg. The leading car who doesn't have a drive-through is Mighty Wombat in 4th. Rafa has a drive-through. He's trying to get around Mighty Wombat here. He's got Renner Jr. alongside, exiting turn 15. Oh, that's tight on the exit there as they head around the triple right-hander. There's Captain Schmeg. Mighty Wombat, he's tumbling down the ordinate. He must have wing damage on that Williams. Oh, and a spin for Daluto. He has spun at the penultimate corner. What is going on this opening lap? Got drivers spinning out. We've got drivers jumping the start. And it's Renner Jr. who is leading the way with Lake Show in 2nd. Snake and Beans is in 3rd place. He's made up 11 positions off the start. Flavius is in 4th. Oh, KD and Noah down in P5 and 6 now. What is going on? Oh, as Darluto almost runs off the racetrack through this opening section. Oh my god, I'm guessing that it wasn't a glitch. Those drivers genuinely jumped the start. I've never seen that before. In all my 2.5 years of commentating, I have never ever seen that. 6 cars jumping the start. KD now having to recover for lost time down the inside of Flavius into turn 12. Moves himself into P4. Sector 2 yellow flags. That is Shizant or Lob? It's Lob. He's made a mistake at turn 11. Gathers it back up. So Renner's leading the way. He's got a 1.2 second margin to Lake Show as Noah overtakes Flavius before turn 16. So he moves himself into P5. Flavius, Rafixer in 7th. Lob making more yellow flags at turn 12. Daluto had a spin at turn 19 on the first lap. It cost him time. He was up into P6. He had a great start. And he had that spin and lost a whole heap of time. Mighty Wombat has dropped down to 16th as well. Ooh, that's awfully close between the 2 Alpines. Wombat got damage, I believe. He had to go in and get his front wing fixed. I'm pretty certain anyway. Yeah, he's on fresher tyres, so it was a genuine stop. Kevin Schmeger's now into the pit lane. Starlotto gets by his teammate Jay Stee into 8th place. KD now catching up to Snake and Beans. It's lap 3 now. DRS is enabled. So both Noah and KD will get DRS on Snake and Beans. They should be able to get by relatively easily. The power of DRS is fairly evident here at Circuit of the Americas. And here he comes, down the inside into 12. Gets through. Noah is unable to follow. Snake and Beans tries to do the over-under, but can't find the momentum as Noah goes down the inside into turn 13. There's the inside for 14, but won't have the inside for 15, but Snake and Beans gives way, so Noah is into 4th place. A little bit of catching up to do, KD and Noah. There is Lake Show in P2. And a further 2 seconds in front is Renner Jr. There he is, the Alfa Romeo going around the final corner. Deary me. Noah sets fastest lap and he's got DRS on KD. He's closing in. He's looking. He's going to go down the inside here into one. It's tight between the two, and it's tight on the exit as well. But KD will have the inside line for turn 2. Noah tries to keep it there. They're going to fight into turn 3. Into the S section they go, and Noah prevails. He goes into 3rd place. What a great bit of racing between those two. Fixer here. He's got Flavius right behind, coming through turn 7 into turn 8. As Zaquito has left the session. So he joined quite late, but he was unable to select a car. So he misses out tonight. As JBH has crashed out. He has crashed out at turn 2. And we have a safety car. We have our first safety car. There's JBH's Ferrari. Dead at the exit of turn 2. Probably just lost the back end and put it into the wall. I've done it myself on a few occasions. There we are, our first retirement. Now it's lap 4. It's not quite the pit window to go onto the mediums and go to the end, but it might be something that the drivers might try and gamble on. Pitting onto the medium tyre and go to the end. See what the leaders do. Renault, does he stay out? Does he go in? He stays out. Lake Show goes into the pits. Noah goes in. KD stays out. Snake and Beans goes in. Bring up the tyre graphic as well, see what they pit onto. Darlato stays out, so does JST, his teammate. Lake Show's pitted onto another set of soft tyres as well. See here, Snake and Beans pitting onto a set of mediums. He can try and get those to the end. Away he leaves. So the driver's not trying to do a one-stop, they're trying to two-stop it, it seems. Namely, Noah and Lake Show. They've pitted onto fresh, soft tyres. Now, the two-stop can work here. It's pretty quick because of how fast the soft tyre is. But you lose a fair amount of time because you're doing 2 pit stops. So they need to be fairly aggressive. Like, they're currently stuck in P9 and 10. They're a long way away from the leaders. A fair bit of work to do. And they can't just dilly-dally behind the cars in front. They need to be aggressive. They need to make their way towards the front of the field. Oh, what are these two up to? Don't pass one another. For goodness sake. Just keep a steady pace. Give each other some room as well. That's something I see drivers do so often, is drive up somebody's gearbox. Just give each other some room. Give each other like a second to the car in front. Yeah, it's not that difficult. Because you don't need to be bunched up at this point. Okay, you're not gaining anything by driving up somebody's gearbox during this part of the safety car period. You do that for the restart because you don't want to lose ground to the car in front, obviously, on a restart. But during this period, when you're behind the safety car, and you have to do a few laps, just give each other some space. It doesn't hurt. Because if you don't, then it tends to cause a whole heap of chaos. And you get severe collision penalties that really can ruin somebody's race. So, yeah, just give each other room. Shizant is going into the pit lane now, so he's going to get off those 4-lap old soft tyres. I wonder what he'll pit onto. Another set of softs. On they go, and away they leave. He leaves. Now, out of curiosity, who was it who got drive-throughs? Look at them all. Right, so JBH, KD, Rafa, Captain Schmeg, Noah, and Shizant all got jump starts. That's pretty incredible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That I've never seen that before. All of my commentating days. And I've done a lot of races, a lot over these 2 and a bit years, and I've never seen something like that. And I do believe that's genuine. That's not a like glitch or anything. I do believe those were genuine jump starts. There we are. Safety car should be in this lap, shouldn't it? Yep, it's taking off. Rightio, so we got top 3 on soft tyres, old soft tyres. Renault, KD and Refixer. Following 4 cars are on 5 lap on mediums and Rafa on old softs in P8. Got Lake Show and Noah on fresh tyres, fresh soft tyres. Snake and Beans is P11 on fresh mediums. And it's a fair old mix and match in terms of tyre compound and tyre life for the rest of the field. So, with plenty of strategies going on at the moment. We'll see who gets it right. What's the final corner? Renner's still waiting. And he takes off. In the final corner they go. Oh, and a bit of a slide there from Renner Jr. And we're back under green flag racing, and Darlotto has overtaken Flavius already. Rafa has overtaken Eistedt. Lake Show follows suit as Lob crashes out at the final corner on the safety car restart. He's out of the race. Around turn 1, down the hill. Oh, that could have been nasty. Rafa lost control at the exit of turn 1. He almost, as Flavius gets well out of the way there. Oh my goodness me, that's JC in the Alpine. Oh my God, there is drama here in the S section. And fortunately, I think and a spin. It's Flavius. He is spun at turn 6. And a whole heap of drama going on here in the opening sector of this safety car restart. Drivers making mistakes, drivers being opportunistic as Darluto has jumped up to 3rd place. He's overtaken Refixer. He's now got a 2.7 second gap to close between himself and KD. Look at this, heading down the back straightaway towards turn 12. JC there, and nice. Snake and Beans not using the slipstream for some reason. Oh, his black ball almost goes into the back. Snake and Beans there. Oh my goodness me. Now KD's trying to close in on Renner here. 4/10 separating the two. Now there's no DRS available just yet. That doesn't stop KD trying to overtake though. Heading down the main straightaway, the gap is 0.3 of a second. Won't be close enough to try and attack here into turn 1. Lake Show and Noah battling. Oh, Lake Show down the inside of Refixo, can't get it done, so Noah says, thank you very much, mate, I'll take that position away. Lake Show tries to go down the inside of turn 2, but can't get P5 back. Through the S section, Refixo runs wide. Oh, dearie me, that's close. Oh, and it's close again at turn 7. Around turn 8 now, around the outside. He overtakes the Haas into P4. Lake Show has to try and follow suit. Down towards the hairpin of turn 11. He's got to run. He's looking to the inside. Commits to it as well. Captain Schmidt gets a 3-second time penalty. A small collision between Refixer and Lake Show at the apex of turn 11. Down this long straightaway. There's Rafa, the Brazilian, right behind. They're both looking down the inside of Refixer here towards turn 12. Refixer trying to fight around the outside. Can't get it done. Oh, he's quite slow on the exit. Compromises Rafa a little bit. As Shizen gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Around turn 15 now. Rafa, you're stuck behind. You can't really pass through this section. of the racetrack. You have to wait until turn 1 for an opportunity to arise. Either that or you hope the car in front makes a mistake. His DRS is now enabled. In the final turn, KD is close, but he's not going to go for an overtake. Not just yet. Here comes Black Baller and JC. They're side by side heading up the hill towards turn 1. The Ferrari has the inside line, and thus Black Baller moves himself into 9th place. And they're still behind the fixer. Gap is half a second. And again, you can't really do much through this opening sector either. He's sort of stuck behind the car in front, waiting for the DRS zone, exiting turn 11. Speaking of which, KD is lining up Renner here as Mighty Wombat has got a 3-second time penalty. And KD, a very easy elementary overtake. He takes the lead back on lap 9. Meanwhile, the small train here, Snake and Beans, Captain Schmeg and Mighty Wombat. Captain Schmeg in a Williams sandwich. And he's going to stay in a Williams sandwich, it seems. Oh, a slight collision, I think, between Captain Schmeg and Mighty Wombat. There at turn 12, Captain Schmeg compromised a little bit by Snake and Beans. And as a result, he had to slow down a lot more than what he wanted. Mighty Wombat clipped the back of the Haas. There's Shizant in the McLaren. And I think Wombat's got damage. He's lost a fair bit of time to Captain Schmeg already. I think he does have front wing damage. Noah sets fastest lap with a 35.8. Does Wombat come in? The answer is no. Rafixer, though, is into the pits from P6. Getting off those soft tyres. Black Baller getting by Istev. The Ferrari is now into 7th place. Oh, that's close there at the entry to turn 1. Between those two cars, I don't think it resulted in a collision, but it was awfully close. The Snake and Beans has spun. There's his front wing laying on the ground, so he'll have to come in and get that front wing replaced. It's a long lap, a long lap without a front wing. KD now pulling away from Renner Jr. The gap has increased to just under a second. Renner still has DRS though, which will help him out tremendously. The Luto doesn't have DRS, and that's not helping him at all because Noah has slingshot past into P3 with absolute ease. Black Baller now lining up Rafa to take P6 in the Ferrari. His next target is Lake Show, but it's a fairly big gap between him and Lake Show. Gap of about 4 seconds. Now Rafa, he'll do his best to try and keep up with Black Baller, but those soft tyres, they're 8 laps, or rather 10 laps old now. They won't be feeling pretty good. If you're thinking about pitting and moving on to the medium compound tyre, and trying to go to the end of the race as Noah sets another fastest lap, a 1 minute 35.688. No, he's just 1.2 seconds behind Renner. Coming around turn 1, he needs to get within that 1 second range as soon as possible. And he's done exactly that now at the exit of turn 2. So we've got this small group of cars, a group of 3, potentially battling for the lead of this US Grand Prix. It's KD from Renner, from Noah. And Noah has closed in by quite a bit through that section, thanks to the fresher tyres on the Aston Martin, as Captain Schmeg gets a 3-second time penalty. Down the back straightaway. Noah, has he got enough momentum? As JC has retired, he has crashed out. That is at the exit of turn 9, and we have another safety car. This is slightly better placed for the soft runners. This is at the pit window to go off the softs and onto the medium tyres to go to the end of the race. JC, he's in the wall on the left-hand side of the racetrack. So he's our 3rd retirement. We're down to 14 cars. Now, KD and Renner, they're definitely pitting. I think Noah should as well to go onto the mediums. Darluto's a bit stuck. He'll have to pit onto the hard tyre. Or maybe he'll try and do a double soft, but you'll have to do a lot of laps on the soft tyre. KD, Renner, they're coming in. Noah will as well. And Darluto is too. I think he'll have to pit onto the hard tyre. Doing 2 stints on the softs. It's just a bit long. KD's gone on to another set of softs, so he's not going to try and one-stop it. He's trying to two-stop it. And Darluto's doing the same. Another strategy I just thought of is medium, soft medium. He could try and do that as well. Lake Show stays out. Black Baller stays out. Rafa stays out too. Why Rafa? This was a golden window to try and pit and put on some fresh rubber. I don't think that's a very good call to stay out on those tyres. Should have pit. Shizant has stayed out as well. He's between KD and Renner in P6. Noah's on the medium tyre. He can go to the end on those tyres. No trouble. Medium tyre can last a fairly lengthy time here at Circuit of the Americas. And it's a pretty well-rounded tyre as well. It doesn't have the extreme qualifying pace of the soft tyre, but it isn't completely rubbish like the hard tyre. Just a very well-rounded, good race tyre, the mediums. We've got Kevin Schmeg on fresh softs. I think that's his second set of soft tyres. We'll look in Race Director, give us a better idea. Kevin Schmeg here. Yeah, it's his second set. He's gone from soft to mediums, now back to softs. Interesting. Darluto's pitted from mediums to softs. Refixer hasn't used an alternate compound just yet. Neither has Lake Show or Rafa. That's only because he hasn't stopped yet. KD has to do another stop. Shizan has to do another stop. Same with Renner. Noah is theoretically the second car because realistically Black Baller could go to the end if he wanted to. But it's a fairly lengthy stint on those mediums because they're not fresh. They're 9 laps old already, so he has to do quite a long stint. So realistically, if you take tyre wear into consideration, Noah is the first car who can go to the end of the race from here. If there are no more yellow flags, as Darluto feigns going into the pit lane there. I suppose that's another thing he could try and do. He's done 1 lap on the soft tyre. He can go back onto the mediums and go to the end if he wanted to, but he would lose a bit of track position. He would drop down from 9th down to about 13th, so he would have a bit more work to do. This is interesting. We got a lot of strategies going on. I was doing 2 stops, some standard 2 stops and some creative 2 stops. We've got drivers getting ready to go to the end of the race from here. Those drivers being Noah, Mighty Wombat, and Snake and Beans. Those drivers can make it from here. The soft tyre, it doesn't last, unfortunately. It's good for about, let's say, 5 laps and can last about 10. After about 5 laps, the soft tyre loses its edge and becomes fairly even with the mediums. So, has it just started raining? It started raining. There was a... Interesting. Well, Flavius told me there was only a 7% chance of rain. Yeah, 7% chance of rain. Well, we got it. That 7% has come around. We got rain. Well, that's another factor then. Because in these sort of conditions, with the track getting cooler and more slippery, you want to be on the grippiest tyre. Which is obviously the soft tyre. Interesting. Righto. We actually got rain. Alright. I thought it was just going to stay overcast. Oh, that's late. That's very late from the safety car. Lakeshow isn't... he doesn't have enough time to try and control the field. Alright. Well, best of luck, you lot. Rain is starting to come, and we're back under green flag racing here in Austin, Texas, and Rafixa is into the pit lane. KD is overtaken Eistev. He's into P4. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Shizant. Oh, he breaks early, and Darluto is compromised, and Noah gets through. Darluto gets through as well, getting nice drive at corner exit there at turn 1. Renner gets by Eistev. Now Noah has to try and get by through the S section. Oh, he's just a cork in the bottle here. As the driver's trying to find a way by, Rafixa goes on to the intermediate tyre. A bit of a gamble, that's for sure, because I don't think it's anywhere near wet enough just yet. Captain Schmeg overtakes Shizan. Darluto gets a 3-second time penalty. Over the crest around turn 10. Noah is still stuck behind Eistev. Will he go for a move here at turn 11? He's going to try. He shoves the nose down the inside of turn 11. Oh, and a bit of contact there between Darluto and Eistev just after the apex of turn 11. Rafa gets overtaken by Renner Jr. Renner is into 4th place now. Darluto, can he find a way past Noah? The answer is no. He's trying to find... Oh, and a spin for Eistev! Oh dear, oh dear. He spins out at turn 12, brings out yellow flags, and drops down to 13th place. Darluto is half a second behind. KD is overtaken Black Baller as well, so KD is into 2nd. Noah 2/10 behind Rafa, going around the outside of Rafa. Rafa must have damage or something, surely. You don't just do that. Oh, he's on 13 lap old softs as well. So KD's overtaken Lakeshow already. It's only taken 1 lap and he's already back into the lead. Got yellow flags around. What's going on? Driver's going into the pits, I guess. Bringing out yellows. Well, it didn't take KD very long. He's carved his way through as Oscar Toll joins mid-session for some reason. There is KD, our race leader. 1.9 seconds is now the gap between him and his teammate. Black Ball, he's got Renner Jr. right behind. Trying to find a way by. Noah's right there as well. Same with Darluto in the Alpine. Oh, it's Darluto. Goes for it. Down the inside at 11. But Noah tries to find the traction. Oh, and... Darluto, nice save. Cost yourself a bit of time, but a very nice save there at the exit of turn 12. Renner, will he go down the inside of Black Baller here? He's certainly going to try. Draws alongside and gets through. He's into 3rd. Black Baller down to 4th. Oh, and he pushes Noah off the racetrack. I don't think that was intentional. I just think he didn't know he was there. Noah trying to look around the outside here at turn 15. Oh, it's Darluto's not mucking around. He overtakes a pair of them into P4. Black Baller runs wide, rejoins safely. He's now down in 5th. Oh, and he goes down the inside of Darluto, and Noah's going to try and follow as well as the Alpine runs wide because he's got no end plate on the right-hand side of that front wing. He's going to have to pit and get that fixed. He might gamble going on to the intermediate tyre, but I'm not sure because DRS is enabled. So the game obviously thinks it's not wet enough to turn off DRS. It's still dry. Oh, as Noah goes down the inside of the Ferrari here at turn 1 and he gets through. Oh, a bit of a wiggle though. Black Baller tries to fight down the inside at turn 2. Oh, and he spins out. Oh, and he smashes into the wall. But fortunately, he's still in the race. And here comes Flavius onto the scene. Same with Snake and Beans. And they get through as well. Black Baller gets overtaken by Mighty Wombat. Oh, he's got a missing end plate as well on that car. Did he make contact with Noah, perhaps? Is that why there's a missing end plate? Because I don't think he got damage from turn 15. If he did, he would have pit on the previous lap. So I think Black Baller and Noah did make contact at the exit of turn 2. Put Noah into the wall. And what do you know, Darluto has gambled. He's moved on to the intermediate tyre. Captain Schmeg. Can he find a way past the Alpine? Oh, he's certainly got traction. Rear ends the Alpine there at turn 11. And he gets by. Just based off that, it's not time for inters. Not just yet anyway. Sector 2 yellows as Rafa has crashed out of the race. And we have another safety car. He's lost the back end at turn 11. And he's put it into the wall. Drive-through penalty for Lake Show for speeding under safety car. Oh dear, oh dear. And he's moving on to the medium compound tyre plus a front wing change. Renner has moved on to the intermediate tyre. And he'll come out in P3. Mighty Wombat stays out. Black Baller is in for a front wing change and intermediates. It's about making the right decisions here, ladies and gentlemen. And Flavius has moved on to the soft compound tyre. Who has made the right calls? Is it Slicks? Is it the intermediate tyre? Which one is quicker at this point? You can see the track is getting damp. Getting damper and damper every second, but the rain isn't particularly hard. It's not falling down massively. You can have times in the game where the track looks wet. Looks like it should be intermediate conditions. But sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the game still considers it a dry track, and as a result, the slick tyres are still better. So who's made the right calls, pitting onto what tyre? And we'll have a look at penalties just briefly. You can see Mighty Wombat's got 3 seconds. Lake Show has got a drive-through. Captain Schmeg has got 6 seconds, and Luto has 3 seconds. The only other driver with penalties is Shizant in the McLaren. He's got 3 seconds next to his name. Right. This is turning into a very interesting race in terms of the strategy. We have got 7 cars on the intermediate tyre. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars on the slicks. Will KD pit? Will Mighty Wombat pit? The answer is yes. They didn't make the right call. Staying out. Renner now takes the lead. And that will mean Captain... No, it'll be the next car. Black Baller? Captain Schmeg stays out on the soft tyre. It's Star Luto. He'll take 3rd place. He'll be the next car on intermediates, then Black Baller, then Snake and Beans. KD is now in 6th place. Mighty Wombat in 7th. Lake Show in 8th, but he's not going to stay there. And he's back on the medium compound tyre. I reckon he might have a pick glitch at the moment. I've seen a few of my friends have this, where they try to select the tyre that they want, like an intermediate tyre, but the game keeps putting them on a different compound. I think one trick to try and get around that is to call up on the radio and say, box this lap. And I think it confirms whatever tyre you selected. But yeah, he's back on the mediums. It's definitely wet now. Look at the spray coming up from Renner's car. Definitely not dry anymore. Now, we'll probably be doing another lap on the safety car. Part of the reason for that is Lake Show going a bit slowly because he's on those slick tyres. He's unable to catch up very quickly. You can see the train of cars behind him, sort of waiting patiently, unable to pass. So we should be doing, I think, one more lap. Oh, Lake Show, dearie me. He's on an ice skating rink at the moment. He needs to be awfully careful. So long as he finishes, he will score something. That'll be the main thing. And we will be doing one more lap under safety car conditions. And he goes into the pits. Captain Schmeg goes in as well, probably regretting his decision to stay out. Into the pits we go. There's the intermediate tyre for Lake Show. On they go, away he leaves. Captain Schmeg is on soft tyres again. So the game hasn't put him on intermediates. It's on the soft tyre. Might be a similar scenario to Lake Show. Now, you can see how overcast it is at the moment. Plenty of cloud cover. Got a bit of blue there, so it might be disappearing on us. I'm not sure. It'd definitely be interesting if the game decides to stop raining and we have a dry finish. That'll add plenty of drama towards the end of the race. This has hurt Captain Schmeg quite a bit because the safety car will be going in this lap. He'll have to make another pit stop to get off those tyres onto a set of intermediates. Otherwise, basically, it's a death sentence. So, and it's the same story with Lakeshore. He's got a drive-through penalty, which he must serve at some point. And there's the safety car call. It's going in this lap. So, Mercedes-Benz takes off. Renner controls the field. He's got Daluto. I can't speak. He's got Daluto behind. Black Baller in third. Snake and Beans in fourth. KD in fifth. Mighty Wombat in P6. Shizant in seventh. Refixer in eighth. Ice Dev ninth. Flavius rounds out the 10. And we've got Noah, Captain Schmeg and Lakeshore. Around the penultimate turn, Renner's still waiting for the right moment to go. And he takes off. Around the final corner, Renner Jr. will begin lap 20 of 28 here at COTA. We've got 9 laps to go, as Noah has already overtaken Flavius for P10. Through turn 1. Down the hill towards turn 2. Now, racing in the wet weather, it's a lot more difficult compared to dry weather conditions. Noah's now overtaken Icedev. So if we're going to see any overtaking, has to be very committed. Can't muck around. Ooh, Daluto is very close there. Coming through turn 8, through turn 9. Gap 3/10. The fortunate thing in these sort of conditions, very easy to recharge your battery. And not using the full width of the racetrack there at turn 11 as KD is overtaking Snake and Beans. Oh, contact at the exit. Oh, and Snake and Beans, that was a nice save there. In these sort of conditions, that's not easy. Keeps P5. Daluto looking, committing to it as well. They're side by side at the exit. Renner Jr. will have the inside line for turn 13, though. Daluto tries to fight the long way round. Can he get the power down? Oh, yellow flags are about. It's Icedev, I think. Daluto has the inside line for turn 15. Renner's still fighting, though. He has the inside line for the triple right-hander of 16, 17 and 18. Oh, and a spin! Daluto! He has spun! Rejoins down in 7th place. Make that 8th. Make it 9th. His challenge at the front has come to an end. Fixer has a moment just in front of him. Oh, contact. More contact. And a half spin. And a proper spin for the Refixer. As Lakeshore goes into the pit lane. That'll be to serve his drive-through. Icedev is in as well. So it's Renner. Then Black Baller. KD is third. Followed by Snake and Beans. Mighty Wombat has got Noah right up his trumpet. They make their way around turn 6. And it's a 4-second gap to Shizant as Mighty Wombat gets a 3-second time penalty. Looking around the outside here as Noah rounds up Mighty Wombat around the outside of turn 8. What a move. Down towards turn 11. Noah's looking down the inside. And he's going to take P4 away from Snake and Beans. Snake and Beans tries to fight, but he runs wide. In his desperation to hang on to P4, he now drops behind his teammate. Drops down to P6 as KD trying to overtake Black Baller here. He's got the inside line as Luto has overtaken Shizant for P7 though. Shizant has fought back, it seems. Better straight line speed. Looking around the outside here at turn 12. It's close. There's contact. And Luto is through into 7th place. 1.2 seconds separating the top 3. Very close at the front, especially in these conditions. Renner Jr. is going to have a handful. KD filling his mirrors in a few moments. Oh, bit of wheel spin there at the exit of the final turn. There we go. Up towards turn 1. Not quite close enough to try and pass. Down the hill towards turn 2. Oystev dropping down to 13th place. He and Captain Schmeg are changing places there for 12th. Through turn 7, then turn 8. And around turn 9. Renner, KD fairly evenly matched up until this point. KD's going to have a bit of a helping hand thanks to the slipstream coming from Renner's car. Gap is 3/10. He's going to use up his battery here. Well and truly in Renner's toe. Renner's trying to move about to try and break that toe. He puts the car in the middle of the racetrack. Where does KD want to go? He's looking to the inside and he sends it. Renner leaves him room. There's contact on the exit though. Can Renner fight back? The answer is no. KD takes the lead. Round turn 15. Renner can't fight back. He's losing a little bit of ground. Can he keep up? Gap is increasing to 7/10 to 8/10. They go around the triple right-hander. Around turn 19. As Noah gets a 3-second time penalty. He's just behind Black Baller here. Might have a battle on for 3rd place in a few moments. Drawing alongside the Ferrari. Heading up the hill towards turn 1. And he gets it done. Moves himself into P3. Nice recovery from Noah after what happened earlier. Getting front wing damage. He's now back onto the podium, but he does have penalties next to his name. 3 seconds to be exact. Oh, it's Luto and Snake and Beans, I think, made contact there at turn 5. Around turn 7 now. Towards 8 and 9. Tries to get the power down. Oh, a bit of a wiggle there from Snake and Beans. Luto gets better drives. Snake and Beans covers the inside. Luto's going to try around the long way. Bit of contact. They're side by side on the exit. Luto gets better drive. Can Snake and Beans fight back? Who's got the better straight line speed? It seems it's Snake and Beans. He's coming back. He's got the inside line as well. Oh, it's tight here at the apex. It's very close. But Luto wins in this battle. And Renner Jr. has spun. He's facing the wrong way at the exit of turn 14. Rejoins down in P7. He has to be careful. His tyres won't feel too good. Oh, you can see him scramble on the steering wheel. Oh, needs to be oh so gentle on the accelerator. Oh so gentle with the steering as well. Those tyres will be cooked. Gotta let them cool down. Then you can start to push again. Yellow flags are about. That's Lake Show in P11 making a mistake at the exit of 15, and he puts it into the wall. Now points the car in the right direction, and he gets going again. There's Captain Schmeg in P12 as well. Has the opportunity to close in and try and battle Lake Show, though he does have substantially more penalties. Captain Schmeg, he has 9 seconds compared to Lake Show's 3. KD's now got a clear track in front of him. Just needs to remain consistent. He'll take the checkered flag. Gap is 2.5 seconds between himself and Noah. Sort of hovering at 2.5 at the moment. It's not really increasing, not really decreasing either. Black Baller in 30, set for a podium finish here in Texas. Got Mighty Wombat in 4th, Darluto in 5th. Then it's Snake and Beans in P6, then Renner Jr. who's looking like a podium. Made the right call, pitting onto the intermediate tyres during the last safety car period, but bit of bad luck it seems. I'm not sure if he made the mistake by himself, or maybe he was helped at this part of the racetrack, but he spun and he's lost a whole heap of places. Now back down to 7th. Fixer and Flavius battling for 9th and 10th on track. Neither driver has a penalty, so this is a genuine battle for 9th. Fixer gets pretty decent drive out to turn 15. Can't really do much though into 16, 17 and 18 though. Just have to follow the car in front. Try and not make any mistakes. Up towards the final corner. The Fixer, can he get this right? He gets it pretty spot on. Using up a fair bit of battery. Trying to close in. Sector 1 yellows. That is Snake and Beans? Yep. Made a mistake. At the exit of turn 1, entry to turn 2. There is Flavius and Refixer, who are battling. Snake and Beans is now on the scene in 8th place. He has to be careful through this section. His tyres won't feel too good. And now, Refixer looking around the outside of turn 6. He'll give him the inside line at 7. Oh, there's contact. Minor contact there at turn 7. And Refixer gets through into 9th place. Oh, you could hear there with the engine note. Snake and Beans had to get off. He had a fairly awkward run onto the curbs. And Refixer looking around the outside at turn 11. They're side by side on the exit. Who's got the faster car? Snake and Beans had a pretty quick car against Luto. Does he have a quick car against Refixer? Oh, contact there! Oh my goodness me! And Refixer has a 3-second time penalty as a result. Around turn 12, Refixer tries to get the over-under done. Have to look around the long way into 30. More contact! Dearie me, these fellas don't mind getting their elbows out now, do they? We've seen a lot of contact over the course of this race. Refixer gets through. Probably get that penalty removed though, so try and get that warning removed. As Lake Show gets a 3-second time penalty, Flavius gets by Snake and Beans at the penultimate turn. Snake and Beans looks like he's going to come into the pit lane. He's got a missing end plate now on that right hand side of his wing. Going to come in and get that fixed. Captain Schmeg, Istev, Lake Show minding their own business at the moment. Black Baller's got company. He's got Mighty Wombat right behind, heading around turn 11. Wombat using up his battery as Lake Show retires in the pit lane. Well, I think he's met the 90% requirement, so I do believe he will be classified. So he'll score points for 13th. Wombat trying to close in through this tight, twisty final sector. Unable to do so at the moment. Black Baller is holding his own in 3rd. show has left the session. Mighty Wombat, another penalty, increasing his tally to 9 seconds. It's always unfortunate to see penalties get involved in some of these races. It kind of ruins it a little bit. That's a gap. 2.7 seconds between Noah and KD. Noah has that 3 seconds worth of penalty, so even if he was able to catch up, it would take an almost impossible task to try and win this race in his sort of position. KD's got this so long as he doesn't make a mistake. That's basically all that Noah can hope for, is that KD makes some sort of error. Coming through the opening sector, Wombat is still close to Black Baller, but he's unable to do anything as DRS is enabled. DRS has been enabled with a lap and a half to go. It has stopped raining. No raindrops on the halo. Well then, here's an extra spice that's been added into the mix. Here comes Mighty Wombat. Just been gifted that out of nowhere. He'll take third place at the moment. He won't stay there when he crosses the line. Meanwhile, KD's got a 3.5 second margin now. All he has to do is cruise for this final lap. He doesn't have to do anything. Just cruise. KD will begin lap 28 of 28. It's the final lap here at Circuit of the Americas. It's the final 3.4 miles of this race. I think the top two in this race got drive-thrus and they're going to finish 1-2. Unbelievable. Noah had that moment with Black Baller at turn 2 which destroyed his front wing. He's going to finish on the podium. Never would have guessed. Around turn 11 for the final time. Heading down the back straight away, you can see the track visibly drying up. The grip will become more and more evident as Icedev has had a moment at the final corner, destroying his front wing. This will give Snake and Beans the opportunity to take P11 away from the AlphaTauri driver. What a race we have had. Drama and action all the way through. KD is going to take another victory in this championship and extend his lead to increase his chances for the driver's title. From drive-through penalty to victory lane, KD 1997 wins the US Grand Prix. Noah will finish in P2 and Black Baller will complete the podium in third for Ferrari. Dolato will finish P5 at the end of this race. We're waiting on Renner Jr. here to finish in P6. Nice bundle of points, but it could have been so much more. Shizant P7. I'm assuming he's going to be pretty happy with that as the AI crashes into the back of the Alpine. Rafixa will be the next car in P8. He'll get demoted down to 9th. Flavius will take that 8th place by 0.2 of a second. Captain Schmeg will finish 10th even with penalties. Snake and Beans is a bit too far behind, it seems. Williams driver, I think, will be close. He will take 11th by 0.003 of a second. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, and Icedev will be our final finisher. I wonder who will be getting driver of the day. It looks like it'll be Rafixer who will get driver of the day. As Captain Schmag gets a stupid 20-second time penalty that will be fixed post-race. I think it will be Rafixer after starting from 16th, finishing 9th. He's made up the most places out of anybody. So there we are. Certainly an interesting race here in Texas. Oh, Daluto. He gets driver of the day. Yeah, righto. I thought it would have been Rafixer. He made up the most places out of anybody. There you go. Now it's time for the podium celebrations, and KD stands on the top step once again. As I mentioned earlier, this will extend his championship lead, increase his chances taking the driver's title in the Americas Series. Noah will finish in second place. He also got a drive through at the very beginning. Nice recovery from the top two, and Black Baller will complete the podium in third. I'm sure he'll be pretty happy to finish on the podium after this race. Outside of the podium places, we have Mighty Wombat in fourth, Daluto in fifth after starting from 10th. The game gives him driver of the day. Renner Jr. in sixth, followed by Shizant in seventh, Flavius in eighth, Rafixer in ninth. Snake and Beans rounds out the top 10. Icedev P11, followed by Captain Schmeg, who should actually finish P10, but he was given a stupid 20-second time penalty because this game is stupid. And Lake Show is classified in 13th place, so he'll get those points after retiring a few laps before the end. Our retirements, Rafa, JST, Lob, and our first retirement, JBH. 17 cars started this race, 13 were classified, 12 actually made it to the checkered flag. A bit of a race of attrition, but we also had plenty of action on track. Battles, collisions, drama as well, particularly at the start of the race, where we saw six cars get drive-through penalties for jumping the start. Never seen that before. Never ever seen that before. No. Don't know what's with Circuit of the Americas at the moment. All the races that I've commentated at the very least have been very interesting here. I have to say then it's definitely one of the better racetracks we go to on the F1 2021 calendar. In terms of racing quality, as a driver though, I'm still not a fan of this place. It's a tough circuit to drive around, to say the least. Track limit warnings are painful, and traction zones tend to be unbearable when the tyres get hot. And they get hot fairly quickly due to the high-load nature of the racetrack. But I think everybody, with everything said and done, it's time to wrap up the stream. Tune in throughout the week, as we've still got plenty of racing to come here on Race Spec Esports. But for the Americas Series, we'll have to wait until next week. Until then, I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you for round 10 of the championship at Bahrain International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. That should be fairly interesting as well. From my time commentating and racing at Bahrain, it tends to be quite good. So I'm very much looking forward to next week, and I'm sure everyone still watching is looking forward to that as well. But until next time, it's goodbye.